Hello everyone, welcome to Stories Up. In today's video, we are going to show you the list of 35 best TV shows to watch on Netflix. But first, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe to Stories Up and click on the bell notification so that you never miss any upcoming video. Want to watch the best Netflix shows? We update this list of the 30 best Netflix TV shows every week with new series to help you narrow down the process of finding something to binge watch. Netflix's volume of original TV shows is staggering, which is why we put a lot of time into curating this list. We always want you to have new suggestions to check out. We are the champions. Number of seasons, 1. Fans of non-traditional sports will especially relate, but it feels like there's always football, basketball, or hockey on the TV. With We Are the Champions, we get some competition that's a little different, from cheese rolling to yo-yoing and frog jumping. Okay, so a lot different. Narrated in suitably tongue-in-cheek style by Rainn Wilson, The Office, We Are the Champions is plenty of refreshing fun, but it's the emerging duels, rivalries, and narratives that elevate the best episodes. It proves that contestants dedicating themselves to their craft, whether it's chili eating or dog dancing, is always engrossing to watch. The Crown. Number of seasons, 3. The Crown was Netflix's first big swing at a British prestige drama, the likes of which normally come from the BBC. The show's enormous budget results in a lavish depiction of the life of Queen Elizabeth II, first played by Claire Foy and most recently portrayed by Olivia Colman in season 3, with a killer ensemble cast to boot. Even if you have mixed feelings about the royal family in real life, this honest-feeling show is well worth watching. The Crown Season 4, exploring Charles and Diana's relationship and featuring Gillian Anderson as Margaret Thatcher, is available now, and it's as juicy and compelling as ever. 2 more seasons featuring Imelda Staunton as the Queen are planned too. The Queen's Gambit. Number of seasons, 1. This 7-episode miniseries is the latest great Netflix show, and while the subject of chess might not sound exciting, The Queen's Gambit manages to weave it together with a tale of self-actualization, romance and drug abuse. Anya Taylor-Joy stars as Beth Harmon, an orphan trained to play chess by a talented janitor, before she challenges the very male-dominated chess scene with her skills. Essentially, her talents land her a slightly better life, but not without a price. Even if you don't really know how to play chess, these competitive scenes are exciting to watch in The Queen's Job, and Taylor-Joy does a great job of bringing to life a character whose exceptional talents hide the fact that she's constantly grappling with addiction. Based on the novel of the same name, this adaptation counts Scott Frank as one of its co-creators, who previously made another of the best Netflix shows, the Western drama Godless. This is a great Netflix binge watch. 7 episodes is just the right number. Well worth watching. Unsolved Mysteries. Number of seasons, 2. If you like factual entertainment, and that's a loose description in this case, Unsolved Mysteries is very well-made junk food. The mysteries in question range from the genuinely curious to the ludicrous, but all of it makes for easy viewing. The 2nd season, just released on Netflix, focuses on everything from alleged spirits seen following a tsunami to the bizarre death of a White House aide. Worth watching with a pinch of salt. Bodyguard. Number of seasons, 1. Bodyguard is the most recent show from Jed Mercurio, the British writer and director behind Bodies and addictive edge-of-your-seat police procedural, Line of Duty. Bodyguard, however, takes the action up a notch as the titular security guy, Richard Madden, is assigned to protect a senior politician, Keely Hawes, until their professional relationship unravels into a steamily personal one. It was criticized at the time of release as not being entirely realistic, but you probably won't care as you're swept up by Bodyguard's relentless, breathless momentum. Ratchet. Number of seasons, 2. Ratchet can firmly and fairly be called a guilty pleasure. The latest show from American Horror Story creator Ryan Murphy is his best Netflix effort yet, by far essentially a prequel to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Ratchet, Sarah Paulson, blackmails her way into working at an experimental psychiatric facility, which houses killers and other colorful characters. It's extremely violent at times, but also campy, not dissimilar to American Horror Story, really. Featuring the likes of Vincent D'Onofrio, Sharon Stone and Cynthia Nixon in its supporting cast, Ratchet is a huge hit for Netflix. It's no wonder Ratchet Season 2 is already confirmed. The Great British Baking Show. Number of seasons, 8. Netflix's range of food shows are world-beating, from The Chef Show to Sugar Rush. This Great British Baking Show, a popular import from the UK, is a long-running favorite, now rolling out weekly in its 8th cycle. It's about a bunch of amateur bakers competing to be the best, with themed weeks to navigate around bread, biscuits and other foodstuffs. It can get dramatic, but it's a deeply comforting show to watch. A massive hit in the UK, US viewers have taken to it too. This year's hosts are mainstay Paul Hollywood, Noel Fielding, Prue Leith and Matt Lucas. Schitt's Creek. Number of seasons? 6. Canadian sitcom Schitt's Creek has caused an upset at the 2020 Emmy Awards by beating the likes of The Good Place and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel to the Outstanding Comedy Series award. And why not? Eugene and Dan Levy's sitcom about a rich family forced to move to a town they once purchased as a joke is both hilarious and heartwarming and has slowly gained a big following through its presence on Netflix. Netflix has now added the 6th and final season of the series, and it really is one of the best Netflix shows. The Good Place. Number of seasons? 4. At last, Netflix has the 4th and final season of afterlife-themed sitcom The Good Place to watch after it finished on NBC earlier this year. While the first season is still its strongest, a big twist means that seasons 2 and 3 spend a lot of time treading water. It's one of the funniest TV shows around when it comes to raw joke writing. And the characterization of its 4 leads, Eleanor, Chidi, Tahani and Jason, is the reason to keep watching. If you've never seen it before, the show starts with Eleanor Shellstrop, Kristen Bell, being sent to heaven after her death, despite being a pretty awful person during her lifetime. The mystery of how she ended up there, in a neighborhood under the stewardship of the entity Michael, Ted Danson, is slowly unpicked into a much deeper plot. Cobra Kai. Number of seasons? 2. Once a YouTube original, Netflix recently snapped up the rights to Karate Kid continuation TV show Cobra Kai. Set 34 years after Johnny Lawrence, William Zabka, was defeated by Danny LaRusso, Ralph Macchio, the former opens the Cobra Kai dojo once more to teach a new generation of kids how to fight. This sparks Johnny and Danny's old rivalry. If you love Karate Kid, this show is a lot of fun, and both its leads are in surprisingly great condition, considering they're each performing fight stunts in their 50s. Cobra Kai Season 3 is on the way to Netflix in early 2021, but for now you can get caught up with Seasons 1 and 2, it's one of the best new recent Netflix shows. Avatar. The Last Airbender. Number of seasons? 3. Considered one of the great modern animated series, Avatar. The Last Airbender is set in a world where a select few can bend the elements, fire, water, air and earth, to their will. Aang, a young boy and the last of his people, is the Avatar, who will journey to harness all 4 elements and keep the peace between the nations of his world. It's an anime-infused, beautiful-looking series that's worth checking out, even if you feel like you might be a little too old for a kid's cartoon. The sequel series The Legend of Korra is now available on Netflix, too, as of August 2020, so you'll have plenty of episodes to get through if it turns out to be your sort of thing. The Umbrella Academy. Number of seasons? 2. Netflix showed it didn't need to collaborate with Marvel to make a great superhero show, as this quirky adaptation of the Gerard Way and Gabriel Bach created series of comics proves. In Umbrella Academy, superpowered siblings the Hargreaves reunite after their adopted father is murdered and together face a possible apocalypse. With an excellent ensemble cast that includes the likes of Ellen Page and Robert Sheehan, this breezy and fun show almost makes up for the lack of new Marvel content coming to Netflix. The Umbrella Academy Season 2 is available now, too, taking the Hargreaves somewhere else entirely, and it's even better than the first season, and the Umbrella Academy Season 3 has just been confirmed by Netflix. The Last Dance. Number of seasons? 1. Finally released on Netflix in July 2020, The Last Dance is the biggest and best sports documentary of the year. With comprehensive access and unseen footage from the time, this 8-part series focuses on Michael Jordan's basketball career, specifically his final season playing for the Chicago Bulls in 1997-98. The talking heads here include Jordan himself, Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman, who each discuss their role in the team's unstoppable run. Even if basketball isn't really your thing, the insight here into what made such a successful team is fascinating, as are the unpleasant clashes behind the scenes. It's one of the best Netflix documentaries you can watch right now. Dark. Number of seasons? 3. Dark is a dense time travel-infused show that's utterly enthralling once you've given it a chance. We recommend watching all 3 seasons of this now complete Netflix sci-fi show in one extended session over the course of a few weeks, just so you can follow the events of what's going on closely. We also advise not reading much else about it. Go in and be surprised by how well plotted and cast this German-language series is. This is the best Netflix show to watch right now if you're looking for a drama that'll give your brain a workout. New Girl. Number of seasons. 7. Netflix US hasn't had Friends all year, but if you're missing that sitcom, New Girl is probably its closest relative on the streaming service. With a surprisingly prolific 145 episodes, New Girl, at first, is about Jess, Zooey Deschanel, who moves in with 3 unusual housemates after her boyfriend cheats on her. Those housemates are Nick, Jake Johnson, Schmidt, Max Greenfield, and Winston, Lamorne Morris. New Girl can get a little repetitive, especially with that many episodes under its belt, but later seasons are mixed up by the return of pilot episode star coach, Damon Wayans Jr., and the addition of Megan Fox to the cast when Deschanel takes maternity leave. This is one of the best Netflix shows if you just want something light and fun to have on in the background. Halt and Catch Fire. Number of seasons. 4. Halt and Catch Fire is about the earliest days of computing and a group of geniuses challenging IBM at their own game. Really, though, it's the basis for an intense character-led period drama set in the 80s, with a fantastic ensemble cast, Lee Pace, Scoot McNairy and Mackenzie Davis, among others. Halt and Catch Fire is often compared to Mad Men, since both aired on AMC in the US, and each is a period drama about an important American industry with similarly deep character development. Unlike Mad Men, though, it was immensely overlooked during its initial run and is definitely one of the best Netflix shows around right now, even if it's fair to call it a hidden gem. Hannibal. Number of seasons. 3. Netflix US has added all 3 seasons of Hannibal to stream, and you're in for a treat if you've never seen it. While this crime thriller was cancelled after season 3, that doesn't actually matter. This adaptation of Thomas Harris's books about cannibal Hannibal Lecter tells a complete story. FBI profiler Will Graham, Hugh Dancy, works closely with psychiatrist Hannibal Lecter, Mads Mikkelsen, to solve cases involving serial killers, while Lecter commits heinous crimes in secret. What starts as a stylish procedural, though, becomes a more complex, serialized show in season 2. By season 3, which adapts the Red Dragon story, Hannibal becomes wonderfully avant-garde, essentially crafting a bizarre and bloody romance between Graham and Lecter. Creator Brian Fuller imbues this show with his own sense of style, and the fantastic supporting cast features the likes of Lawrence Fishburne and Gillian Anderson. The Witcher. Number of seasons. 1. Netflix's first big fantasy series is an adaptation of The Witcher books by Andrzej Sapkowski, which were already adapted into a series of popular games. If you were disappointed by the end of Game of Thrones, it's a treat. Henry Cavill plays monster hunter Geralt of Rivia in a story that spans decades and wars between nations, though the best parts of season 1 are the Monster of the Week episodes that see Geralt facing off against a dark creature. These usually have twist endings, too, and they're a treat. The Witcher doesn't quite feel like prestige TV in the way Game of Thrones tried to be, but that's not a bad thing. This is an enjoyable, funny fantasy series that still looks extremely expensive. With a great supporting cast and a well-drawn world, there's plenty to be excited about in The Witcher Season 2, which is in the works for 2021. And if you're struggling to follow the show's unusual time-hopping structure, check out The Witcher Timeline to figure it all out. Queer Eye. Number of seasons. 5. Need a dose of feel-good TV to help cope with today's rocky political landscape? Check out Queer Eye, a show about being the best you with help from 5 of the coolest dudes on the planet. The show will get its 5th season in 2020, and we're still loving the premise of taking people stuck in a rut and hoisting them to the self-respecting, self-loving person we all want to be. Season 5 is now available. American Crime Story. Number of seasons. 2. Both seasons of FX American Crime Story are among the best shows on Netflix, though they're listed under separate entries depending on the case they're based on. The first, The People vs. O.J. Simpson, digs deep into the shocking murder trial, including the legal teams on both sides. It features an amazing ensemble cast, notably Sarah Paulson, Sterling K. Brown, John Travolta and an excellent David Schwimmer. The second, meanwhile, The Assassination of Gianni Versace, is about the murder of the famous fashion designer by spree killer Andrew Cunanan, brought to life in scary, thrilling fashion by Darren Criss. The series then flashes back to show what happened to Cunanan's previous victims. It's fair to say each has a slightly trashy veneer, and you never really feel like you're watching something entirely factual. But they're engaging interpretations of shocking events from recent history, and each is used to shed light on the world we live in now. Dead to Me. Number of seasons. 2. Netflix's near-constant output of new programming can occasionally bury gems in the deluge, and the dark comedy Dead to Me is one of those hidden beauties. It's near impossible to discuss what makes Dead to Me so special without spoiling it, but suffice to say it takes the concept of two grieving widows forming a friendship and twists it into something fresh and thrilling. Christina Applegate and Linda Cardellini are the leads and carry the show even during its rare misses in tone, delivering a layered look at the bonds between women and how solidarity can triumph even in the darkest of times. The show is overflowing with smart comedic writing, crisp visuals, and more than its fair share of surprises. Dead to Me has been renewed for a third and final season, so now's a good time to catch up. Tiger King. Murder, Mayhem and Madness. Number of seasons. 1. The latest documentary on Netflix to make you ask, how is this real? Tiger King takes you behind the scenes of a big cat tourism attraction, and it's eye-opening. What starts as a documentary about an eccentric with a lot of big cats in cages and a hunger for fame quickly escalates into darker and more serious territory. You won't see where this is going over its 7 episodes, and you'll never forget the range of characters you'll get to meet in this series. It's the most talked about documentary show in years, making Tiger King a must-see, even if its final follow-up episode with Joel McHale is worth skipping. Money Heist. Number of seasons. 4. Don't let the strangely goofy name put you off. Money Heist, or La Casa del Papel as it's known in Spanish-speaking countries, is a thrilling heist drama about a group of criminals brought together by an enigmatic figure called the Professor to rob the royal mint of Spain. With dense characterization, big twists and career-making performances, this is an unusual and clever heist show that'll grip you right away. While it's been a huge hit with a Spanish-speaking audience for the longest time, Money Heist has now found a big audience in the English-speaking world, too. A new set of episodes just dropped on Netflix, meaning you've got 31 episodes to watch if you've never seen it before, divided over 2 separate overarching stories about the same set of characters. Whatever you do, make sure you switch the default dub off and listen to the original Spanish audio with subtitles. This series could be the best Netflix show you've not seen yet. Community. Number of seasons. 6. The NBC cult comedy favorite from the co-creator of Rick and Morty has landed on Netflix, and it's picking up an all-new audience about a decade after it originally aired. This sitcom about a community college study group starts as a more conventional show about its educational setting, but Community reaches the next level when it starts experimenting with pop culture parodies and high-concept episodes. If you're new to the show, keep watching until Season 1's action extravaganza Modern Warfare, which firmly establishes Community's identity for later years. Some seasons are fantastic, 2, 3 and 5, some are just quite good, 1 and 6, and 1 is worth avoiding entirely, 4. This is a perfect binge watch for this moment. Get on it. Ozark. Number of seasons. 3. Ozark was hit by comparisons to Breaking Bad early on for its tale of a seemingly good guy who's dragged into deep criminal activities. But it's a very different beast, not least in its visually distinctive titular setting. By its 3rd season, it's forged its own path as a family drama. Marty Bride, Jason Bateman, moves his family to the Ozarks in Missouri, where he has to launder $500 million for a drug lord who threatens his family, including his wife, Wendy, Laura Linney. This dark, adult series is a dramatic breakthrough role for comedy veteran Bateman, who also directs episodes in each season. You've got to be in the right mood for it, but if you enjoy shows like Fargo, you'll find this a compelling watch. Ozark is one of the most underrated series on Netflix and is worth watching just for Wendy's character development and Linney's performance. Better Call Saul. Number of seasons. 4. Breaking Bad prequel spin-off Better Call Saul has almost been around for as long as its predecessor, with its 5th season airing right now on AMC. You probably caught the first few episodes of season 1 in the wave of hype around Breaking Bad's finale, but it's worth giving later seasons of this spin-off the same level of attention. Jimmy McGill's transformation into Saul Goodman is a steady, delicate character study that brings in a whole ensemble cast of memorable new faces, notably Jimmy's older brother Chuck, Michael McKean. It also gives us more time with Breaking Bad favorite Mike Ehrmantraut, Jonathan Banks, and other iconic figures from that series which we won't reveal here. Carrying slightly more dark humor than the preceding series, it's absolutely worth catching up on before it ends in 2021, with Better Call Saul Season 5. Sex Education. Number of seasons. 2. Starring Gillian Anderson and Asa Butterfield alongside a slew of previously unknown actors, this British comedy is a treat. It's about the students, parents and teachers of Moordale Secondary School, where Butterfield plays Otis, the son of sex therapist Dr. Jean Milburn Anderson. He teams up with Maeve, Emma Mackey, to open their own in-school sex education clinic and help fellow students out with their various issues. It's a very empathetic and heartwarming show that expertly explores topical issues around sexual identity and gender, and it's really funny to boot. Sex Education Season 3 is filming now, and we're expecting it in 2021. The Office. Number of seasons: 9. The Office is one of the most popular shows on Netflix US years after it went off the air. And 2020 is the last year it'll be on the service. NBC's new streaming platform Peacock has the rights after that. But that's still most of a year that you can spend binging of the best modern sitcoms. The Office is built on the bones of the UK original, but it spins off in entirely different directions almost straight away and is definitely less emotionally challenging to rewatch. With 20-minute episodes, compelling season-long arcs and memorable characters, you can easily lose an entire weekend to watching The Office on repeat. Later seasons aren't nearly as strong, but you've got well over 100 must-see episodes to watch here. Mindhunter. Number of seasons: 2. David Fincher is no stranger to Netflix since he directed the first ever episode of House of Cards, but Mindhunter is Fincher going well, full Fincher. It's based on John Douglas's book of the same name and charts the life of an FBI profiler whose job it is to track serial killers. It's set in the 70s and later the early 80s and sees its trifecta of lead characters interviewing famous serial killers in often tense encounters. Fincher is extremely hands-on, too, directing 4 episodes of Season 1 and 3 of Season 2. Unfortunately, Mindhunter Season 3 is on indefinite hold, but we're hopeful for its eventual return, given that this is some of the director's best work to date. Stranger Things. Number of seasons: 3. When it comes to TV and movies, the 80s is the nostalgia decade of the moment. Filmmakers can't get enough of Ghostbusters, shell suits and Sony Walkmans. Stranger Things is another brilliant homage to this era. Leaning heavily on Spielberg, John Carpenter and Stephen King, the story revolves around a small town, a group of friends, a missing person and a dodgy science lab. Writing anything else would give away the myriad twists in a show that is full of brilliant creepy fun. The 3rd season hit last year and it was fantastic, and each subsequent set of episodes just deepens your investment in these kids' stories and friendships. Season 4 of Stranger Things is now filming. Dear White People. Number of seasons: 3. If you like your cultural analysis with a dose of humor, Dear White People is the show for you. Starring Logan Browning at the conflicted Sam White, Dear White People navigates the tricky grounds of race relations in America in the post-Obama but yet not post-racism era. The first few episodes back away from hitting on anything too heavy, but come episodes 5 and 6, you get a biting sense of why this show is so needed at this point in our history. Funny, clever and dripping in wit, Dear White People isn't so much an attack on American ideals as it is a series about exploring, explaining, defending and deliberating the issues facing people of color in the US. Russian Doll. Number of seasons: 1. Orange is the New Black's Natasha Lyonne stars in this dark comedy as Nadia, who keeps dying and reliving her 36th birthday party in a surreal time loop much like Groundhog Day. With its cynical and witty examination of living and dying, Russian Doll switches rapidly between laugh-out-loud hilarity and devastating sadness. It's a must-watch. In June 2019, Netflix announced it had renewed Russian Doll for a 2nd season, which is well-deserved. Bojack Horseman. Number of seasons: 6. Bojack Horseman has just completed its 6th-season run, and, well, its finale left one of our writers in tears for most of a weekend. Following the life of washed-up actor Bojack as he struggles with alcoholism, toxic relationships, and family issues, the series is just as heartwarming as it can be heartbreaking. For those who are worried it may be too dark for them, fear not, there's loads of slapstick humor, wordplay, and stunning animation to keep everything balanced. Orange is the New Black. Number of seasons: 7. Orange is the New Black has wrapped its 7-season run, and it's a superb tale of life in a women's prison. It was one of the first big Netflix originals, along with House of Cards and Arrested Development Season 4, and it ran for so long simply because it was very popular. That being said, the show is dark. Tensions and issues with the US prison system brought to the forefront, and while the comedy from the first few seasons remains throughout, it's slathered with a fair bit of drama. Breaking Bad. Number of seasons: 5. More addictive than the meth pushed by Walt and Jesse, Breaking Bad is brilliant binge-watching television. The initial plot is simple. A straight-laced teacher is told he has cancer, and to make sure he leaves his family with the best possible life, he turns to drug making and dealing. There's method to his madness as he ends up being pretty good at it. Creator Vince Gilligan has created such a good group of characters, he is currently mining the same world again with Better Call Saul, which arguably reaches similar heights and is also available on Netflix, as mentioned. Netflix also released a movie sequel focused on Jesse in late 2019, El Camino. That's it for today. Tell us in the comments which one you are going to watch. If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe the channel. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video.